listening to Let's Talk Sustainable Business.
Hi, my name is Barbara Mendes-George and I'm a sustainability communications expert based in Brussels, Belgium. It's a pleasure to welcome you to this edition of Let's Talk Sustainable Business, a series brought to you by the Conference Board. Today is the first of a two-part conversation with Caroline Viarouge, CEO of EIT Manufacturing. EIT Manufacturing is a European public-private partnership focused on connecting manufacturing players and promoting entrepreneurship to accelerate sustainable innovation in Europe. Caroline is passionate about attracting talent to the manufacturing industry and bringing innovative solutions from concept to market. Before joining EIT Manufacturing, Caroline held various senior management positions at Nissan, Bearing Point and Montes. And Caroline holds a Master of Science in International Business from the University College Dublin and an Executive MBA from HEC Paris. Caroline is also a business angel, supporting startups in the French Occitanie region. This week's theme is sustainability in manufacturing. So what do we mean when we use this term? Over 50% of the world's emissions come from the extraction, processing, and manufacturing of materials, fuels, and food. If businesses switch to more sustainable production processes, decarbonisation could be accelerated substantially. Sustainable manufacturing seeks to minimize environmental and social impacts across a product's life cycle, from design and materials to production and reuse. It is also focused on reducing waste while using innovative technologies to save energy and resources. By focusing on sustainable production, manufacturers can optimize their systems, create more sustainable products, and future-proof their business lines by reducing carbon-intensive business practices. In 2024, the European Commission commissioned an advanced manufacturing study, which analyzed the state of the EU manufacturing industry. And that study concluded that while the industry is dynamic, innovative, and growing, the number of advanced manufacturing firms in the EU more than doubled between 2009 and 2023. The industry also faces increasing pressure from international competitors. And we're recording this in a time where some political rhetoric continues to pit progress on sustainability against industrial growth, despite the recent evolution of industry-focused sustainability legislation. Competitiveness is on the EU agenda more than ever, especially since the release of Mario Draghi's report on European competitiveness. And the EU's Work Programme 2025 aims to address skills and labour shortages to ensure that European companies have access to the workforce they need to remain competitive. However, the European Trade Union Institute, ETUI, says, lagging investment in clean technologies poses a greater risk to European jobs than the green transition itself, arguing that comprehensive industrial policies are needed to manage industrial technological transformation, which will generate competitive advantages in the longer term. While think tank Bruegel says that while clean tech investment and employment in the EU are growing, a major heavy industry decarbonisation push is still required, especially in highly emitting heavy industrial sectors such as steel, cement, and chemicals. As well as discussing these issues with Caroline, I'm looking forward to talking about women in manufacturing, especially as, in August 2025, EIT Manufacturing published a report called Gender Mainstreaming Policy and Gender Equality Action Plan, which outlines a strategic view with a longer-term horizon aimed at achieving gender equality in manufacturing. So welcome, Caroline.
Thank you. Well, thank you for welcoming me, Barbara.
Thank you for being here. I'm really looking forward to talking to you about sustainability in manufacturing, industry trends, and women in STEM. Could I start by asking you to outline what you do at EIT Manufacturing?
Yeah, sure. So at EIT Manufacturing, I am leading a team of over 180 colleagues across Europe. We are all together working toward accelerating the European manufacturing industry path to competitiveness. And a real focus in this endeavor is, first of all, to have a broadening network and collaboration through ecosystem stimulation. We're bringing the whole ecosystem and community in manufacturing innovation together. Then from that community, we help them in boosting viable innovation through access to funding of innovation and also the support to commercialization of this new technology. There is no technology without the people, and we are focusing very much as well on expanding the skills and competences through customized professional training, e-learning platform, postgraduate programs, and access to international talent. And last but not least, once we have this technology, once we have these really growing startups, we help them to accelerate sustainable growth through the access to finance and other funding programs.
Great, thank you. I want to ask, do you focus on specific sectors or are you more of a cross-functional organization?
So in EIT manufacturing, we work across sectors, from aerospace to automotive to textile, and also to heavy industry like steel. Really, the manufacturing technology, we're spanning this technology and to some cross-functional innovation.
Very good. You touched upon this, but I wanted to read a quote from your website that says that EIT manufacturing aims to overcome the fragmented nature of many innovation networks, and that to help innovation reach the market, it helps connect and integrate the areas of education, innovation, and business creation. You mentioned e-learnings and postgraduate programs. Can you expand a bit more on how you bring and integrate these areas together?
Yeah, what we need to know is that in Europe, innovation often happens in silos. University, research centers, startups, and corporation each works in their own bubbles. And this is a problem. It creates a fragmentation and it makes it harder for great ideas, for great technology to reach the market and then to scale. So, really, what we are looking at and a role in IT manufacturing is to connect these different players and create this community of manufacturing innovators. This is where we are stepping in. And we encourage collaboration between academia, collaboration with research, collaboration with business, rather than, again, working in isolation. If I just put it into context from different perspective here, when you have a large corporate needs fresh ideas and solution to stay competitive. If you look at the startups they need support, they need partnership to truly scale, test the technology, and reach the market. If we look from another perspective, then you have the university. And the university then need a pathway to translate all this research work into actual product, actual impact. And that's all each other needs. And innovation thrive when all these different group of people actually work together.
It's interesting because I'm guessing you're not just bringing together startups with big corporates, as you say, but really trying to get the education and academic aspect in there as well.
Yes, indeed, it's extremely important to work across the technology, where the innovation and the bright ideas are, but also making sure we are bringing the educational aspect in, because there is no place where you would have the technology accepted if you don't know how to use it, if you don't have the people with the skills and competences to maximize the usage and the adoption of such new technology.
Great, thank you. Do you have a case study example for our listeners of how ways you've brought people and sectors together for positive outcomes?
Yeah, I think it's always there is nothing better than a proper example here. And I was thinking to talk to you about a startup we are supporting. The name is DigiClean. The DigiClean is addressing the challenge of chemical dependency in factories. So you need to know that the factories rely heavily on chemical and they have a lot of inefficient usage of it, which leads to a lot of waste, but also a reduction of the equipment lifespan. So what
Interesting.
DigiClean has developed, they have developed this AI-powered sensor technology that offer real-time data and do empower the customer to make informed decision based on data-driven information. And all this information helped into the reduction of chemical products. If we look at the impact a startup like DigiClean is bringing with this breakthrough technology, they help the customer to reduce the chemical usage by 60%. And even more
Wow.
than that, they increase by 1000% the lifespan of the cleaning fluids, meaning that they don't have to change the chemical and the fluid as often as they have by a proper usage of this chemical. And when you see a startup like DigiClean, the key challenge for them is scaling it from a concept to a full impact ready solution, to a solution which is operational and which commercialize across the different corporate. And this is where we intervene. We in IT manufacturing, we come in. We brought DigiClean in one of a program which is called Venture Builder Program, and the program is here and tailored to equip this industrial startup or university spin-off with the tool they need to thrive, including mentoring, networking, targeted introduction, and also a fast track to an investment opportunity. And DigiClean, just specifically on that startup, after the Venture Builder program, we saw such a potential in the technology that they also went through an investment program. So EIT Manufacturing made investment in the company, and this investment aligned perfectly with what we believe are in, what is the mission of EIT Manufacturing to support solutions that enhance the competitiveness and environmental sustainability for European manufacturing sectors.
That's really interesting. I've worked in the bio-based sector, so my experience with chemicals is more, fossil-based versus bio. And I'm now working on sustainability reports where people are talking a lot about, SVHCs. But this is an angle I hadn't thought about. Not only, obviously, I thought about reducing chemicals, but the fact that it could ruin the equipment, that's super interesting. So with one type of technology, they can make a lot of change.
Definitely, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you. So I'd like to take our listeners through EIT Manufacturing's 2030 goals, which are that 30% of material use is circular, 60% of production uses sustainable practices, 360 new solutions will be created, 325 million euros of investment will be attracted by EIT Ventures, 50,000 people are trained and up or reskilled, and 1,000 startups are created and supported. So how did you develop these goals and how are you progressing on them?
Yeah, so we indeed defined these goals after extensive consultation with the members. So including all the partners we have in corporate, startups, scale-up, SMEs, university, and research organization. We work with them in assessing the industry needs. We match them with strengths as a powerful network and community of innovators and use that to make sure we anchor and guide our work through the 2030 ambition. So just so you know, so far we have more than 120 innovation projects placed on the market. We
Very
are
good.
over 1,100 startup and scale-up supported, and we have trained more than 39,000 students and learners in our educational program and training. So when we look at ambition to 2030, in some aspect, we are on track. In some other, we still need to pick up the pace, and that's exactly what we are doing now.
So how are you picking up the pace on the goals that are a little bit more challenging?
So we are picking the ball here by shaping different programs to truly address this area which we see are more complicated to reach. So for example, on the investment side, we've launched different programs. I mentioned earlier DigiClean, we went through the Venture Builder. We developed that program to accelerate this commercialization of these specific startups. And then we follow up investment from on a side, and also investment we pass on to the European Innovation Council, where they get bigger investment there. So we're trying to build program and also making sure we create synergy to help in the full journey for these startups and scale up.
Okay, well, good luck in the next 5 years to reach those 2030 goals.
Thank you.
So, in the introduction, I briefly outlined a definition of sustainable manufacturing and the state of the European manufacturing industry. I'd love to hear your expanded thoughts. I have a few questions for you. The first one is one that I feel like I'm having all the time in my community, which is how is Europe positioned in the global manufacturing landscape alongside other powers like the US and China?
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a key question these days. We all very clear that Europe now face economic, demographic, and geopolitical challenges that have diminished a competitiveness on the global market. And with other manufacturing regions like the US, you mentioned them, China, truly advancing fast forward, Europe, we are still finding a path in scaling innovation and adapting to emerging global trends. But it's difficult. It's difficult for industrial manufacturer. It's difficult for deep tech and manufacturing startups. If we look a bit at the situation, and I heard in your introduction, you did mention the Draghi report, which obviously have been shaking us a
Yes,
bit of the Draghi report,
everyone.
which really woke everyone up. Between 2008 and 2021, close to 30% of the unicorns founded in Europe So for everyone to know, unicorn, we are talking about startup or scale up with a value above $1 billion. They have relocated the 30% of unicorns, the headquarter, to the US. They relocated there, and the reason is simple. It's funding, it's money. They follow the money. Because the US truly dominate the global VC investment. In 2024, for example, they have been attracting $89.4 billion investment, which is more than 4 times, yes, I said 4 times combined, China, the UK, and France. So we are talking about a different magnitude here. Within Europe, the access to venture capital remained truly uneven as well. We looked globally, but also within Europe. If you look the western part and the eastern part of Europe, we have a big fragmentation of investment. And it does leave some startup in smaller markets also struggling to find the funding necessary to grow. So here I'm painting, that's the situation, that's the reality. But then, despite the competitive landscape, Europe holds several key advantages. And it's good to remind ourselves that we have some strong strengths in Europe. The first one is the deep academic excellence and research leadership. We are in Europe still punches above its weight in fundamental science and patent. We also have a strong heritage. We have an industrial heritage and a high quality manufacturing ecosystem. The manufacturing in Europe, it's the backbone of a resilience, particularly in precision manufacturing, but also sustainability and engineering. If we think of the strengths as well regarding the sustainability, and here we'll talk more about the topic, sustainable and ethical innovation leadership. We have a strong value-driven approach gives us in Europe a clear edge in the green and responsible technology. And this is an area which is in demand and growing fast. So that's an opportunity as well as European. And the last opportunity for Europe is really the strategic investment in dual use technology. The defense topic is, with the geopolitical situation, definitely becoming a big topic, and it's coming with big investment. So we need to see it as well as an opportunity for the manufacturing sector with an investment of above 800 billion planned for defense and industrial readiness, which is going to be realized in the coming years.
So thank you, Caroline. You've actually already answered part of my next question, but I'll pose it anyway because there might be more things that you want to add. My next question was going to be, what are the key challenges facing Europe's manufacturing industry? Where do you think it will be in 5 to 10 years' time? And what do you think are the most urgent actions that the industry needs to take to become more sustainable?
Yes, indeed. I mentioned it earlier because these are obviously important topic these days. But indeed, we are facing a tough competition in the market now, especially from this low-cost producer, and also the pressure from countries like China, India, and other emerging economy combined by subsidies, and it make it difficult for European manufacturer to maintain their edge. And here, if we think about really the challenges that they face, there is first of all the cost. Okay, we are in a continent where we have a high energy cost. The rising of electricity and gas price make European manufacturer definitely less competitive. There is also the factor of cost. We are in a transforming digitalization industry. With digitalization and Industry 4.0, it comes with cost. The cost of automation, the cost of implementing AI, the cost of smart manufacturing to stay competitive. It's something that manufacturers in Europe need to consider. There is also a cost related to the fragmented European market we are in. Regulatory differences among the different member states complicates operation, and complication always come with cost if you want to address a certain market. Then if we think challenges, I touched on it briefly earlier, it's the geopolitical shift. I mean, let's be clear, there are some trade barrier, the tariff. I mean, in the last months, this has been high in the news with the US and the rest of the world. We have the war in Ukraine, which is at the border of European continent. And more generally, we are in a geopolitical instability. This is creating uncertainty for the industry, for the business, and for European manufacturer. There is another important challenge, which is around the skills. The skills and really having the right competencies and the talent attracted to the manufacturing sector. The rapid evolution of technology demands, which is going at a pace we've never seen before, demands new skills. Yet we need to realize that we are in an aging population in Europe with a very unfavorable demography. We are facing a shortage of skilled workers. And this, first of all, with workers, but also with skilled workers who can handle the ongoing demand, but even more importantly, the demand on the new skills and competences in digital, robotic, AI, and so on. So we really need to think about how to build the skills we need today and also tomorrow. Another important challenge is the sustainability commitment. Global warming is not stopping, and we need to make sure we continue in taking a responsibility here. We know the US withdrew from the Paris Agreement. This has signaled a weakening commitment to sustainability and climate goal in general. But in the EU, we remain dedicated to staying on track with some simplification on the way because nobody is closing their eyes, but still keeping its ambition of net zero continent by 2050. So in the next 5 to 10 years, if I have to summarize, if we truly focus on bringing innovation to market at scale, if we focus on invest adequately in research and innovation, direct funding towards strategic sectors, and strengthening this collaboration, Europe's position is in the global market, and we will recalibrate. We already have top talent today in Europe. We have a manufacturing excellence and sustainability leadership. So with the right focus, we can regain a global competitiveness.
Thank you, Caroline. I have one final question to finish off the first part of the interview, but I'm going to bring back something from your answer as well. I wanted my last question for you to be, what would you say to anyone who argues that prioritizing sustainability is incompatible with industrial growth? But I wanted to touch upon the fact that you talked about cost in your answer to the previous question. And I think sometimes, as someone who's worked in sustainability for almost 15 years now, cost is so often used as an excuse to not invest in something, but it feels like such a short-term point because I remember being in the UK and seeing newspapers writing articles about how green policies were going to raise your energy bills, and now in the UK it has very high energy bills because they didn't invest enough in renewable technologies back in the day. So how do you feel about the cost element when it comes to kind of boosting sustainability, and how do you handle yourself that tension between prioritizing sustainability and boosting industrial growth?
Yeah, I mean, it's a totally fair question. And I want to make it clear here is that sustainability isn't optional. It's the only way forward for any industry. So maybe the argument of cost is coming in, and this is where we need to work on a business case. Because investing in sustainability, it's investing in a future competitive age. And that's, if you think about sustainability, you think about reducing waste. You think about circular economy and reducing cost on raw material. You think about reducing the energy bill because you're consuming less. So all of these aspects need to be thought through as when we position sustainability, this is indeed not a cost. You position sustainability as an investment for competitiveness. And this is how we need to think about it moving forward, because as I said, this is not an option. This is the only way forward for the industry.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Caroline, for joining us today. This is the first of a 2-part episode, so join us next time for part 2. And thanks to our listeners. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe to this podcast series and explore the entire catalogue of podcast programming from the Conference Board by visiting our website at tcb.org/podcasts. See you next time.
That was Let's Talk Sustainable Business.